the Cowboys, the Aggies. It's next on KCSG.
Wyoming's defensive back Deshaun Gibson, who is starting his 42nd game, hit a forced fumble and a recovery versus Nebraska. Meanwhile, for Utah State, linebacker Bobby Wagner is a tackling machine. He leads the Aggies and the WAC in tackles, averaging 12 per contest. We are inside Merlin Olsen Field at Romney Stadium in Logan, Utah. Our matchup, the Wyoming Cowboys versus the Utah State Aggies. And hello everyone, thank you for watching the Syscom Sports presentation of Utah State football. Michael Clinton along with Kevin White. The Aggies flipped the script on the month of September. It was a heartbreaking month, but they welcome in an old rival in Wyoming.
Yeah, it goes back to the 50s and 60s and even the 40s, the old Skyline Conference, a matchup between Utah State and Wyoming, and another chance for Utah State to sort of redeem itself and to perform against a mid to upper level Mountain West Conference team. Now, the question is, does Utah State believe after losing 3 games in the final 30 seconds, do they believe and can they get the victory tonight?
Well, let's talk about Wyoming first. They're 3-1 overall. Their only setback was a home game to Nebraska, and they're led by a freshman quarterback like Utah State, Brett Smith.
Smith, a 6'3", 195-pound freshman, true freshman, comes in completing 60% of his passes, number 30 in the nation in total offense. Really doing a nice job for these Cowboys. However, as a true freshman, sometimes prone to the big mistake. 4 interceptions and a fumble, 5 turnovers. That'll be key tonight. Can he protect the football? If he can, Wyoming's got a good shot.
The Aggies really 3 plays away from being undefeated and ranked, but the reality is they are just 1-3. But the bright spot, though, has been the play of running back Robert Turbin.
Yeah, Turbin coming in averaging 122 yards per ball game, number 11 in the country, and 15 points per game, number 2 in the country. He gets into the end zone an awful lot. As a matter of fact, last week, the first time he touched the football, went 80 yards against BYU for the opening score. However, he only carried the ball 8 more times after that initial touch. He needs to get 15 to 20 carries tonight for Utah State to have a chance.
When we come back, the opening kickoff between the Wyoming Cowboys and the Utah State Aggies. It's next on KCSG.
52 degrees, cloudy skies, slight breeze, a perfect night for football here in Cache Valley. The 1-3 Aggies taking on the 3-1 Wyoming Cowboys. Jacob Hatter going to start things off here in this ball game. Transfer from Boise State, has 3 touchbacks on the season. Aggie fans would love to see him booted out of the end zone here. And we are set to go from Logan, Utah. Short kick fielded at about the 6. Muhammad gets up to about the 24-yard line. Let's meet the 3rd member of our broadcasting crew, Brooks Hanson. Brooks, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. It's a beautiful night for college football tonight down here on the field. What was a rainy, kind of blustery day has turned out to be pretty nice. A little overcast. It's expected to get about 45 degrees tonight. We'll see how the weather pays into tonight's game. We'll be down here all night. Have a good call upstairs, guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Brooks. So the Wyoming Cowboys have that spread attack. Brett Smith, a true freshman quarterback from Salem, Oregon, done a nice job. But Kevin, as you mentioned, he has turned the ball over. They start on the ground. Pickup of maybe a yard or 2. Not much there for that Wyoming offense. And they are averaging 30 points a contest. The offensive line, they're improving. Probably the best is number 60, Nick Carlson, the center. But it's a team that they're improving week by week.
No doubt about it. Coming in 3-1. Playing very well. Even played well in the first half against Nebraska last week.
Huron is their big play wide receiver, number 6. There's also a former Snow Badger, Mazi Agbana, as this one is incomplete. We're going to go to Chris McNeil, the junior from Simi Valley, California. And just like that, it's going to be 3rd down for the Wyoming Cowboys. Aggies play that 3-4 defense. They want to get the best 11 on there. Big Al in the middle, a terrific run stopper. Levi Koskin had a terrific game against Colorado State a couple weeks ago. The inside linebackers, probably the strength of this team, Wagner and Gallagher. Bobby Wagner, probably an NFL-type talent. And the presence of McCade Brady, welcome addition back after that unfortunate incident at BYU where he got tossed from the game from just playing football. This pass is caught on the far sideline. Wyoming gets a big play, and they get a first down on their first possession. This is the true freshman receiver, Josh Doxson, out of Mansfield, Texas, making just his 5th catch. Did have 3 catches against Nebraska, a pickup of 21 yards.
And just a 2-man rush. Had a spy with Koskin on the quarterback, just too much time, giving the receivers time to come back to the football.
Motion out Brandon Miller. They will play 3 running backs. Smith with time, and it's juggled and caught and then thrown down at midfield. That is Bobby Wagner with the stop. Wagner, he's one of those guys. He's going to be a good draft pick in the NFL in April, but boy, he is doing some special things here in Logan.
No doubt, coming in averaging about 12 tackles per ball game, one of the tops in the country, and making his physical presence felt on that first catch right there by the tight end. Wagner throwing him to the turf.
Leads the team with 49 tackles coming to this game. Smith on the move, goes downfield wide open. So Roofran, I think he's finally out of bounds on the 20-yard line. Dominic Roofran, another true freshman out of Colorado Springs, makes his 13th catch of the year. Breakdown in the secondary.
Yeah, a little out and up route. Got lost behind the corner. It was a 2-deep Tampa 2. Got behind the cornerback in front of the safeties. And, you know, when you've got 5 and 6 receivers out and you've only got a 3-man rush, you've either got to commit to getting pressure on the quarterback or you've got to play that deeper zone. This time, a nice job by Roofran to find that weak spot in the zone.
A gain of 29 yards. So the Cowboys, this is their first possession, gashing the Aggies. Pickup of 21 and 29, and this one's going to go inside the goal line. Pardon me, inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal coming up for Wyoming. This is Alvester Alexander, the junior from Houston, Texas.
They've got a 3-headed running back system. Alexander, the veteran, coming in, averaging 4 yards per carry. Each of their 3 running backs averaging about 50 yards per game. And what an impressive opening drive here by the Cowboys.
Alexander with 3 touchdowns on the season. He has 24 rushing touchdowns in his career. This is Smith finding his way to the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown, Cowboys. Well, they made it look easy that time, Kevin.
Absolutely. The Aggie defense not getting any pressure on Smith. Looking solid as a young freshman, just standing in there poised, and this time the slow zone read followed right in behind his offensive guard and got into the end zone. Terrific opening drive by the Wyoming Cowboys.
Lining up to go for 2, and they will. This is McNeil looking to throw, and it's deflected by Wagner, and so they will not convert on the 2-point conversion. Some trickery early by the Cowboys does not pay off, but a very impressive opening drive, gashing this Aggies defense.
And Coach Christensen called this Aggie defense one of the most physical, if not the most physical, they will face all year long. But that offense made it look very simple in this opening drive.
When we'll look at the 2-point try.
Bobby Wagner getting that big paw out there, making a play. Interesting going for 2 this early in the ball game. You know, it makes you wonder, maybe they're setting something up for a little bit later in the game, but a little Daffy Duck formation there and throwing out of the 2-point conversion. Aggies ready for it.
Let's get to our automatic car credit keys of the game, Kevin. And quick drive already by this Wyoming team.
Well, and that's one of the keys for Wyoming is to possess the football. In the last 2 games, the Aggie opposition has actually possessed the ball a lot more, in magnitude of 10 minutes more. With Colorado State and BYU in both games, they controlled the clock and kept the Aggie offense off the field. They want to make Chucky Keaton, the freshman quarterback for Utah State, beat them because they're going to stack the line of scrimmage. Utah State comes in averaging 307 yards a game. Well, on the other side, look for Chucky Keaton maybe to stretch the field a little bit tonight, getting him more involved in the ball game early for Utah State.
Goes through Kerwin Williams' wickets there.
This ball was touched.
Yeah, I think it's live.
That's a touchdown.
He's got it covered up. Maybe he thought it was going to go out of the end zone. But that is a live football. So the Aggies making a critical mistake on special teams.
I think that was Kerwin Williams that came up. The ball bounced in front of him. He put his hand down. I don't know if, obviously they're going to have to review this thing. Let's see if Williams actually touches this ball.
Well, even if he doesn't touch it, he's got to do something with it in the end zone. That's a live football. Unless it goes out, and it doesn't, it stays in.
And Wyoming covers it up.
I believe this was Caraway who covered it up.
And Utah State Williams just walking away. Wow.
So a mistake there is lightning strikes in a bottle here. Is Sullivan on for the PAT, and he missed it. So perhaps that's why they went for 2.
Wow.
What an interesting beginning here in Logan. Still 12:06 left. The Cowboys leading the Aggies 12-0. Back after this. Kerwin Williams, one of the better special teams players in the nation, just had a mental breakdown there. Thought maybe the ball was going to go out of the end zone.
I saw the official in the back of the end zone a signal that he actually touched it. You'll see back in the back of the end zone, then Wyoming covers it up for the touchdown.
Well, you know, this is interesting because the guy that came back and recovered it, he actually went out. I don't know if he's eligible to come back.
And then he came back in?
And recover the fumble for a touchdown. Well, that's interesting. We might have to get a clarification on that.
And I'm curious why Gary Anderson did not review that. Up in the booth, they should have probably reviewed that. However, as it stands, already 12-0 before Utah State even touches the football on offense.
Unbelievable. Hoping to put the heartbreak of September behind them beginning October here, and not off to a good start here, letting the Cowboys march down the field on the first possession and then getting that special teams touchdown. Well, here we go. Let's try this again. Williams up past the 30, 35. Look out. Midfield. Trying to break another tackle, and he's down at the 35-yard line. And that's what we expect from Kerwin Williams.
One of the leaders in the nation in kick returns, both in the punt game and the kick game. Boy, he's electrifying once he touches the football. I'm sure he'll learn from that earlier mistake. But now, the Aggie offense in a hole early in this ball game have got to put points on the board right now so that this doesn't get out of hand.
It's a 50-yard return by Kerwin Williams. You talked about one of the best special teams player in not only the conference but in the country.
And terrific blocking up front there for him as well by that front wall.
So Chucky gives to Robert Turbin, stiff arm a man to the 30-yard line. Robert Turbin. Oh, and a penalty marker comes out late. It's going to be an additional 15 yards.
And this may be a bad break for Wyoming. They may be calling a block in the back and not necessarily a late hit out of bounds. Now, you got the late hit. The defensive lineman, in that particular case, I believe that was Zatoki. Might have been Napton. Let's see who it is here.
Well, wait a minute, there's some confusion. Utah State's going backwards.
When I saw it initially, it looked like that's what Wyoming was signaling, is that they got hit late, knocking the defender into Turbin out of bounds, and that was really the penalty, and that's what ended up being called.
So still will be, they say, 1st and 10 now from the 44. There is Chucky Keaton. He's done a marvelous job as a true freshman, throwing for 587 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions yet. Had that great game against Auburn week 1, showed so much poise. Matt Austin with a catch on the near sideline, pushed out of bounds by Blair Burns, able to get most of that penalty yardage back.
I think it's key tonight to get Keaton off early and even giving him some throws down the field. Seen a lot of this, the little short outs, a lot of quick outs.
The offensive line, and then the backs and the receivers. Matt Austin just caught that one. Chuck Jacobs, watch for him on the edge. Went catchless against BYU, a flip pass. This is Michael Smith, still going inside the 20. Good desire that time by Michael Smith, the senior out of Tucson, Arizona.
Safe little shovel pass inside, and Smith, the hard-running senior, transfer from Eastern Arizona, doing a nice job for the Aggies. And again, I think it's critical that the Aggies have to get points on the board here so that this game doesn't get out of hand early.
Cache Valley Bank starting lineup, and Zacha and Hendricks are the playmakers. Option play. Chucky going to keep it himself. He's going to be inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Aggies.
And this is such a dynamic run offense. They come in averaging 307 yards per ball game. Number 5 in the country, or 7. I have to go back and look.
5th in rushing.
5th in the nation in rushing. I still think Wyoming is going to put 7 and 8 in the box and try to force Keaton to beat them. Nice read by Keaton there, faking the pitch and then getting back upfield. He does a terrific job in the option game and makes great decisions.
Pick up a 13 yards, going to keep it on the ground. This is Robert Turbin powering his way close to the goal line. down at the 1 foot line.
Comes in averaging 15 points per ball game. A little more
amazing.
than 2 touchdowns a game. Hurry up offense. Look for Turbin to get the carry here.
Wyoming still getting players off the field. Turbin's going to score another touchdown. So Robert Turbin, career touchdown number 31 on the ground, moving up all sorts of lists here at Utah State.
And a nice looking answer that time by the Aggie offense. The first time they touched the football. Has a little bit of a feel of maybe a shootout tonight, Michael. We'll see how this plays out, but both offenses prolific on their opening drives.
Thompson on for the point after. And Josh's kick splits the uprights. So PATs might be a key in this ball game. Aggies able to make theirs. Wyoming went for 2, missed it, and then missed their other PAT. 10:20 left. Utah State on the board, 12-7 Cowboys. All over the place.
No doubt about it. Wyoming offense quickly striking against the Aggie defense, then getting the kickoff, recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. But you're right, you called it right as we went to break there. 2 missed extra points. We'll see if that comes back to haunt the Cowboys late in this ballgame.
63rd meeting, Aggies leading the overall series, 34-24-4. Here's another good return. Boy, Ghali Muhammad up past the 42-yard line. Special teams, what's going on here?
It's almost like fast break football. It's the teams are off to the races. I don't know if it's the cooler air, the soft field. I don't know what this is, but both teams running back and forth right now.
2 evenly matched teams, no question about it. You'll be fooled looking at the records, but trust me, these 2 teams very similar. There's the GNC scoring drive, 6 plays, 34 yards. The Turbin touchdown run. And the Aggies now have, 17 rushing touchdowns in 5 ball games. This is Smith.
It was all set up by the Kerwin Williams return on the kickoff. As you recall, he went over 50 yards on that kickoff return, setting up the Aggies in great field position. How about this freshman Smith? Looking very confident early here in this ball game, both in the throw game as well as that read option game, that zone read.
There's 7 freshman quarterbacks now starting, 5 true freshmen, and he's got the best record of anybody right now. He's actually got a winning record. This pass incomplete, looking to go to Huron. Good coverage that time by Cameron Sanders. Nice to have Sanders back into the fold, the 5'10", 173-pound corner out of Oklahoma City.
And as you mentioned, nice to have Brady back as well in that defensive secondary. Really a tough break last week.
Tough call against him.
I thought so as well. As I looked at it later in the week, looked like he was there with his arm and his shoulder. Maybe the penalty, but not an ejection. Certainly not an ejection in that situation. Nice to have the Cache Valley boy back in the secondary. And now the Aggie defense, a 3rd and medium range. Maybe a little bit more pressure this time on Smith. Let's see.
Coach Jay's defense trying to get off the field here, and that would be a big deal. This Wyoming offense seeming to have things clicking and stretching out. I think he's going to be short. Will Davis making a nice stop, the junior out of Spokane, Washington, to play on the true freshman Doxson.
In simple little reads for Smith, but you're right, a terrific tackle that time to stop him short of the first down.
You know, I talked to Coach Anderson earlier this week. He says, I don't know if we're going to be able to sack Smith. He gets rid of it under 2 seconds about every snap. And this Cowboy offensive line, they've only given up 3 sacks.
And maybe that goes into the defensive calls, the 2- and 3-man rush, playing deep zone instead of maybe putting more pressure on. Although I expect the Aggies to come after him a little bit. He still is a freshman.
Booming punt. This is going to reach the goal line, so it will be a touchback. And the Aggies will start on the 20-yard line. Well, is this game going to settle down now, Kevin?
We need to catch our breath, don't we? But a nice response that time by the Aggie defense.
KCSG is the television home for the Utah State Aggies. Our next telecast will be Saturday, November 11th against San Jose State. Our coverage begins 1 p.m. Of course, KCSG is available on Dish Network 37, DirecTV 44, Comcast 116. It's over the air in southern Utah.
I think it'll be interesting to see if the Aggies give Chucky a chance to throw it.
Well, he throws on that play, and it's dropped. Incomplete pass. Looking to Smith out in the flat.
Still everything's short. Into the flats, quick hitches, slant routes, everything's short. Off the read zone here, or the zone read, a little quick flip out to Smith. Should have had that football and good for a 5 or 6 yard gain. But I still think they need to stretch the defense. You can see right now already Wyoming crowding the box, playing man. Let's see if the Aggies go downfield a little bit with this football.
Say they'll keep it on the ground. Robert Turbin up to the 25. Third down now coming up for the Aggies.
And Turbin, as we mentioned in the open, needs to get maybe 15 to 20 carries tonight instead of the only 9 that he had. Went 9 for $123 last week, including that 80-yarder.
3 straight 100 rushing performances for Robert Turbin. Third down for Utah State. Moats with the reception, and he's got a first down. And that'll move the chains for the Aggies. The senior out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, a transfer from Air Force, making his 5th catch. Of course, had the touchdown reception last week against BYU.
But again, the 2 fumble punts the week before. However, he ran a terrific option route this time. A little fake cut to the out, and then back on to the inside, beat Hendricks to the inside, the linebacker, and was able to get the easy pitch and catch.
Got 12 yards on that third down play. Boyd goes in motion. Utah State will keep it on the ground. Not much there. Well, they're going to give him about 3 yards. Good perseverance that time.
We talked about the 3-headed running back monster for Wyoming. How about the 3 running backs also for Utah State? You've got Turbin, Smith, and Williams. And here's the freshman quarterback chart. You know, the big stat for me is that 0 interceptions for Chucky Keaton. He protects the football, but they need to let him take some shots. I really think that's a key tonight.
This is Jacobs on the edge. Gets a block from Austin, close to a first down. Let's see where they're going to spot the football. Boy, it'll be close.
And you know, Michael, anytime you average 300-plus yards rushing a game, you've got to have wide receivers that can get down the field and block. And that time you saw Austin, you called it. Austin down the field 8 and 10 yards, making a block for Jacobs to get to the edge. Terrific job of blocking by that Aggie receiver.
Coach Anderson said, I like our receiving crew. Of course, the number 1 criteria is to catch the ball. We've had a couple of drops, but they're a tougher, more physical group. They've done well with blocking. Here's Kerwin Williams. Look at him go. To the 20. He's got one man to beat with a stiff arm. And this is Michael Smith. He's going to score.
What a terrific setup on that screenplay. Everything flowing to the left. Then you've got the lineman scraping back to the right. Sneaks Smith out into the flat. Chucky comes back. Everybody's out of position. You've got lineman running 25 yards downfield with nobody to hit. And then an outstanding cut by Smith, eluding a tackle and getting to the end zone.
Smith for 53 yards.
Fast break football, Michael, here tonight.
Beautiful catch in Ron Thompson again for the PAT. And the Aggies now lead this ball game 14-12. What a nice job responding, coming back against this Cowboys team. One more look, Michael Smith doing the work against the Cowboy defense. What a way to begin this game, 14-12. Looked like all was lost. Aggies down 12-0 before the offense even touched the football, but they've come back, and they've come back in a big way. So have a look at the GNC's scoring drive. 6 plays, 80 yards. Of course, Keaton, the 53-yard pass to Michael Smith. An explosive play. Gary loves those.
Absolutely, and a terrific design also by that Aggie offensive coaching staff. Everything flowing to the left, a little pump fake by Keaton, then back to the screen, and you had Lyman out in front. That was a convoy down the field, and then Smith made the last man miss and got himself into the end zone. And a terrific response by the Aggie offense, getting right back into this football game.
Dynamic play, and let's see if the defense can hold true again. Howder, 5 yards deep in the end zone. So a touchback, his 4th of the season. Nothing that Rufran can do, and now this Wyoming offense started the football game off in grand fashion, going down the field easily. Maybe it was too easy. Maybe they thought it was going to be a cakewalk. We'll have to start from the 20-yard line.
Well, and Coach Anderson is such a good defensive mind. He'll make the adjustments. I thought in the initial drive they came out with just a 2- and a 3-man rush and then played zone. Let's see if they get a little bit more after Smith here going forward.
The numbers coming into this ball game, and there are some similarities there. Aggies, of course, 5th in the nation running the football. Get that passing play as a penalty marker comes out. I believe this is Rufran on the far side, spinning his way close to a first down. Might have it, depends on the spot, but there is a penalty marker on the field at the 21. So hold everything.
And I think both offenses very wide open. A spread offense for Wyoming. Utah State obviously very diverse, especially in the run game. A lot of wide open plays. Big chunks being garnered here early in this ball game.
Holding offense number 65. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Going to be a hold on Kyle Magnuson, the junior from Indiana. Anything really stand out there to you, Kevin? You know, red zone scoring is pretty impressive, both teams.
And again, another one here tonight with Turbin's run. So 15 out of 15, including 12 touchdowns. But Wyoming comes in number 15 in the country in red zone defense. So that may be something to look for tonight. The kicking game may be something that becomes critical here tonight. A touchback there for the Aggie defense gives them better position here.
Short on the ground. I believe this is Miller getting a chance here. Kevin, you talked about a three-headed monster for running backs. You'll see we've seen Alexander, we've seen Muhammad, and this is Brandon Miller, the sophomore from Parker, Colorado, coming in with 37 attempts, 207 yards and a touchdown. Does have a long of 38 yards, but thought we might see more of him this afternoon.
And a very balanced offense, coming in throwing for more than 200 and rushing for more than 200. Makes it awfully difficult for defense to game plan. Maybe that's why they're staying a little bit soft and not putting a lot of pressure on Smith early.
It's a team that averages 30 points. Again, they'll keep it on the ground. Nowhere to go. That Aggie defense, stout up front. There's Bobby Wagner, got the head shaking.
Wagner's a man. Again, averaging more than 12 tackles a ball game. Had the batted down two-point conversion, had the throw down to the tight end on the early pass completion, and this time straight up against Miller, noggin to noggin, pushed him backwards, setting up a 3rd and 15.
Making his 37th career start, 7th in Utah State history in tackles. Smith with time, and it's caught over the middle. Will be close to a first down. The spot is everything here. Brady making the stop, and we'll have to check this as, again, it's Robert Huron, the sophomore from L.A. And it will be a first down.
Nice job by Smith, standing tall in the pocket. Aggies had man-to-man coverage, sort of a man-free. Brady came up, tried to get the tackle before that first down marker, but a terrific throw and catch for the Wyoming first down.
Seeing a 15 yards on 3rd down. This is McNeil, the junior, their California wide receiver. Good pickup on first down for the Cowboys. Of course, 3-1 coming into this game, and they've won the close games. They beat Weber State by a field goal, and they blocked an extra point at Bowling Green, and so they sit with that 3-1 mark. The only loss was to Nebraska at home.
How about that? Nebraska, Texas, others coming to Wyoming.
But this Agbana, someone that you know very familiar, you're familiar with, a Snow Badger.
Yeah, you know, I spent a couple years down in Ephraim, and you've got DJ Lester out there in front, another Badger blocking for Ozzie Agbana. Terrific young man out of New York. On the other side, Al Apuaho, a former teammate of both Lester and Agbana down in Ephraim at Snow College, playing here for the Aggies.
And Ozzie Agbana stays out there. Bottom of the formation, trips to the far side for Smith. Of course, this is a spread offense. Coach Christensen spending time at Missouri. And Huron, there is nowhere to go there. It'll be 2nd and long coming up for the Cowboys. Terrifically played by the Aggies. Jake Dowdy making his presence known.
Yeah, Jake Dowdy did a nice job running first from inside out, getting to that screen and beating the block. And the receiver helped him a little bit by cutting back inside instead of going out to the sideline. Dowdy was able to get him and throwing for a 1-yard loss. What you notice here, Wyoming not huddling at all, trying to minimize the number of substitutions that Aggie defense can make.
Trips formation out of this near side. Smith rolls the shoulders and going to throw it, and it's dropped by Alexander. So Alvester Alexander looked like he might have had some space to go. Couldn't hang on to the football. Incomplete. Now 3rd down coming up.
Although I think Bobby Wagner was right there.
Whenever Bobby's in the area, look out. You're right. And maybe that's why he drops.
There's Wagner right there. He was going to drop him for a 5-yard loss. Beating the offensive lineman on the inside, running out, and getting to the running back. Probably a smart play by Alexander to not catch the football.
Wyoming 2 of 3 on 3rd downs. Need 11. Smith. Pressure coming. Koskin couldn't get him. Slides away. Makes the catch at midfield, but it will be shy of a first down as Robertson had coverage on Dominic Ruffran. And it appears that Wyoming will have to punt the football away.
Good job by that Aggie defense. This time coming with some pressure. Had a little man coverage, man free with some pressure off the edge and also up the middle. Koskin almost got there. But Smith with his feet making a play.
Well, it helps when you win 1st and 2nd downs and make a 3rd and long. Then you can give up a little bit on that 3rd down. Nice job by that Aggie defense, slowing down the Cowboys. This punt will take a nice cowboy bounce. It'll be down inside the 5, maybe the 1-yard line.
Austin McCoy, the punter, 2 terrific punts. Turned that one over and then got it to bounce back and puts the Aggies deep.
Utah State volleyball will be in action Thursday, October 13th against Fresno State, and Saturday, October 15th against Nevada. First serve 7 p.m. For tickets, buy them online at www.utahstateaggies.com. Click on the tickets button or call 1-888-U-STATE-1.
So last week, BYU on their final possession went 96 yards. Let's see if Chucky, the true freshman for Utah State, can lead this Aggie offense on a 99-plus yard march.
But McCoy, a 49-yard punt, and now 7 inside the 20. Making his way out past the 6-yard line is Robert Turbin. So solid is Hulk, as he likes the Hulk character. I mean, he looks like him, and those arms identical to Lou Ferrigno, who played the Hulk back in that TV series in the early 80s. But he knows his way to the weight room. A direct snap now to Robert Turbin, and look at him go. First down and much more across the 20 goes Mr. Turbin.
And his legs are twice the size of his arms. He's a man among boys. And I think the Aggies, we talked about it, he only got 9 carries last week. I think he's already got maybe 6 or 7 early here in this ball game. And that is the reason why. He's a patient runner, knows how to follow his blockers, gets up in there, and then accelerates into the secondary. And I think he'll get 15, 20, maybe even 25 carries here tonight.
Needed 102 yards to surpass Roger Grant on the 6th all-time rushing list. Keaton going deep. He's got a man out there, and it's caught. It'll be a first down for the Aggies at midfield, and there is Kerwin Williams. So the running backs are making the plays down the field for this Aggie offense.
And we talked about it early on in the open that Chucky needs to take a couple of shots down the field. This time, stood tall in the face of pressure, had the little out cutting it up by Williams, put it perfectly on him. Good for the pitch and catch. Aggies already on the Wyoming side of the field.
Just the 3rd reception by Williams on the season. And look at this play. Morrison going deep. Jacobs was out there, and this is going to be a pass interference call for Stanley Morrison, the one-time high school quarterback, showing you that throwing ability.
And how about Dave Baldwin, the Utah State offensive coordinator, coming out with a little trickeration here. The little fly sweep to Morrison, hides it, then throws deep.
Number 2, defense.
Through kind of the inside.
Penalty, automatic first down.
But was that Gibson or was that?
It was Huff. Weston Huff, number 2.
You're right. Huff was kind of riding Jacobs all the way out. Didn't give him a chance to come in and make a play on the ball.
Keaton already over 100 yards in this first quarter, Kevin.
I thought that was key to let Keaton really have a chance to open up. And, you know, when you're averaging 300 yards a game, you're going to stack the line of scrimmage and make that freshman try to beat you.
He'll stay on the ground. Nice pickup that time. Robert Marshall, the sophomore from Dallas, Texas, only his 5th carry of the season.
Yeah, a little change up. They brought him back in motion and then rode him as a fullback. Sort of a quick dive, as almost like an old Air Force dive play.
Look at this tempo. This shades of the second half against CSU as Turbin gets an Aggie first down.
And remember, this drive started inside the 1-yard line for Utah State. Now, you're right, the tempo, the up-pace, fast break football that Utah State likes to do once they get big chunks and first down plays, right back to the line of scrimmage.
Getting close to that red zone, which the Aggies have been perfect so far this season. Keaton gives it to Turbin to the 19.
This time Keaton maybe should have kept that football. Ride it a little bit longer to Turbin, although like you said, those Lou Ferrigno arms, once he gets his arms around that football, he's not going to let it go.
8 carries for 45 yards for Robert Turbin so far. Remember, needs 102 yards to surpass Grant.
And 8 carries already, only had 9 all of last week.
9 for 123, and of course the touchdown also caught one. Well, that is the end of an exciting first quarter here in Logan, Utah. The Aggies on top of the Cowboys, 14-12.